one other thing that I feel the need for speed. No, I feel the need to address because there was a report today that came out. I believe there was actually a couple reports. There was a Bleacher report, as it were, that came out, and then an Ian Begley story. Of course, Ian's the best, and if anything comes out of his mouth or from his laptop, it's true. And both of these indicated that our good friends, the Dallas Mavericks, have perhaps begun to gauge the trade interest in one of their players, specifically Mr. Kristaps Porzingis. Well. Isn't that interesting? A lot of Knicks fans came out today or Tuesday to gloat. By the way, nothing is going to happen tonight that'll change what I'm about to say. It's not like KP is going to go off for 50 tonight because he's not playing because he's out. They're keeping him out. So there's a shocker, something you never heard before. Anyway, a lot of Knicks fans came out and gloated in reaction to this news. And, I'm not always down with the gloating, mostly because, we've been bad for a long time, and anything that has ever happened to us that has been good is often followed by something that is bad. And I'm still getting used to this new regime and this new coaching staff and this kind of new way of doing business in Madison Square Garden. I think they have things figured out, so it makes me a little bit more comfortable about the gloating. But the reason I'm really comfortable about the gloating is because of the overwhelming reaction that came out after that trade was made. And every Knicks fan, when the trade was made, obviously, look, you don't have to, maybe some of you were like, oh, fantastic move, great job. Most people were like, oh, wow, that's bold. And I think most the even-keeled media people that are out there were like, okay, the Knicks took a chance, but you get it. It's a big risk. But there's also question marks associated with this player. And then there were that batch of media people who could not wait to whip it out and just piss all over New York's grave. And boy, did they revel in that, because there is a certain type of revelry that goes on when certain media people get a chance to just lay a big one all over this franchise. And that's why, like, when we hear people like, oh no, we just root for stories. We don't root for teams. No, you may not root for teams, but you certainly root against teams. And again, people had a lot of fun with that. So because certain people in the media just went to town on that trade, it is absolutely 110% okay for any Knicks fan who wants to get up and be like, ha, now he's your problem. And do it, and shout that from the rooftops. It's fine. Do I think that this is, are they actually going to trade him? I don't know. One, because I don't think he's that easy to trade. And two, because if he comes back, and plays eventually again, he's still a talented player. And I text this with my brother a lot. I text this with Yash and Bernard a lot. Like, it's a bad contract. He's an injury-prone player. He's an imperfect player. But if they keep him for the whole time, all it's going to take is him staying healthy and putting it together for one playoff run. Will he ever be able to do that? Will he ever be able to survive a 7-game series? I don't know. Probably not. But if he does, and he does very little else the rest of the time that he's here, it's like Cespedes, right, with the Mets. He gave you that one great run. If he gives them one great run and it results in a championship, no one's going to care about what they gave up to get him, and no one's going to care about the fact that they're now maybe looking to get out of this deal. That said, it's impossible now to look at this and say anything other than the Knicks won this trade. And I don't like to make it about that. I've never wanted to make it about that because for me, this has always been a discussion about process and a discussion about how you go about your business. And I still don't think the Knicks went about their business the right way in doing this because I'll go to my grave saying this. I think they could have gotten a better deal. And I think if they had went about the process a little bit differently and more diligently, maybe more patiently. And I understand, it didn't get out and they avoided the whole complicating factor of his list of trade demand teams to like become public and whatnot. I'm less inclined to be favorable to those arguments simply because we have seen good GMs navigate choppy waters in this league when their stars make demands and still extract maximum value for the pieces that they're trying to move. And I don't, anybody who says that they think Scott Perry and Steve Mills extracted maximum value for Kristaps Porzingis is lying. I don't think they did. And I get more into this in today's Knicks Film School newsletter. Feel free to check that out. But, in short, if you're going to trade a guy and you're going to trade a guy for a first-round pick or one first-round pick that's unprotected, ideally you want to trade him to a franchise that doesn't have a guy like Luka Doncic propping it up. But whatever, that ship sailed. I think at the very least, if you're a Knicks fan, you could now look at this and be like, they did the right thing by getting rid of the guy. They did the right thing by getting rid of the guy when they did, which is to say before the trade deadline, because I think the other part of this is if they had waited, and I've said in the past, I thought they should have waited and dealt with it in the summer if they didn't get a deal that they liked. I think I was wrong to say that because one, I'm not sure the way that summer went down if there would have been that much better of a deal. I do think there was a better deal out there because they prioritized cap space. And that's always been my issue. It's like, why would you prioritize cap space when you didn't need to prioritize cap space at that time? You did need to trade him probably at that time. You did not need to prioritize offloading bad money at that time. That was their mistake. And I think that was where the error in process was made. But they did the right thing by trading him before the deadline. And the biggest reason for that was because if they did not do that and they let the situation linger into the summer, someone else would have scooped up Julius Randle. Now, was it luck that we got Julius Randle? Is it luck that Julius Randle's turning into what he's turning into now? Again, I don't really care as much because the fact is he's here. He wouldn't be here if Porzingis was still here, if Porzingis had stayed until the summer. And he's doing what he's doing. And for the present day, for me to sit here and analyze the trade in terms of the lasting effects that it still has, I'm less concerned about the process in that sense because the guys that made the trade are gone in terms of Steve Mills. I know Scott Perry is still here, but he's surrounded by a whole host of characters that are perhaps making up for some of the areas that he wasn't strongest in when he was doing this with Mills. I think Perry's is okay GM, but I think he needs the support system around him as opposed to a guy like Steve Mills who did not have the wherewithal to run an NBA team. I'm getting off track. Look, this is a great, wonderful day. It really is. Let them try to trade him. I'm curious to see what they can get. I don't think they're going to get much. I think they're going to have to take back some less than desirable money to move his contract. If they get a first round pick for him, it'll probably be, I would guess it's going to be protected. And again, I think you're going to have to take back some salary. That's not a salary you really want to take back. And it's going to be fun watching them try to navigate this. I do not think this portends the downfall of the Dallas Mavericks organization. I still think they're going to end up with whether it's 7th seed, 8th seed, and the pick is only going to have, right now, if the season ended today, there would be a 2.5% chance that pick ends up in the top 4. So, not to say something else couldn't happen, not to say Luka Doncic couldn't twist his ankle tomorrow and be out for a month and a half, and then we're having a different conversation. But, good on Steve Mills, good on Scott Perry. You got him out of here. You got what you could. Was it as much as you could get? Probably not, but you did the right thing. And so for any Knick fan who has ever said anything bad about you or to you, I think you are owed an apology. And to every media person who couldn't wait to get to their typewriters to bang out that post-trade analysis column, well, hope you save those Word documents somewhere for posterity's sake.